Grace Crowley's Naturist webcomics. Discovering Loxie Zoot and its spin-offs. By Brett Marcus Cook. Loxie Zoot is a webcomic created by Grace Crowley which ran from 2003 to 2006, during the big webcomic boom when titles like Penny Arcade, Ctrl+Alt+Delete, and 8-bit theatre rose to prominence. Its titular characters run an Australian nudist camp together called Koala Bares, populated by a diverse cast of characters including multiple men named Herb and an eccentric old man named Mungo who seems to be able to see into the future. Over the comic's run, they deal with the anti-nude politician Tex Tyler's weird schemes, college porn scams, a traveler from another dimension, and dual thieves who aren't what you expect. These storylines are all quite elaborate, with Crowley weaving multiple plot threads together involving several cast members, plus plenty of zany, good-natured gags and frank discussions of body image and other familiar nudist issues without ever sounding preachy. The first storyline itself is a solid 115 pages. It feels like it would have made a great TV show with all the wacky sitcom elements involved. There are also some attempts at aping famous newspaper strips and some guest strips by other creators, which are fun to see. I'm a fan of Crowley's art style, especially as it develops over the years. It reminds me a little of the Archie Comics house style with a bit of 90s alternative comics like Love and Rockets or Evan Dawkins' work. Characters come in all shapes, sizes, ages, and colors, some have tan lines, and everything is colored in a pleasantly simple way that you don't see too much these days. As a cartoonist myself, I have a bit of envy and know I'll be taking inspiration from it in the future. The comics are easily accessible from the archive linked above, but most of the other links on the site are broken. It's a shame. I'd like to read the old reviews and see what folks thought, as even 20-some years later the comic really stands out to me. The plots are so involved without being convoluted, the cast never feels too bloated, the issues and themes are handled so casually, and reading it is just a good time, and I hope others felt that way as the comic ran. It appears Crowley was never very good at keeping the site working, as I found mention here and there that the forum they ran while the comic was active would go down frequently, and I encountered more dead links and messes after I finished reading the archive. Crowley also made a series of spin-off comics under the title The Bear Pit, which I was unfortunately only able to access through the Internet Archive's Wayback Machine. Loxie Zoot return, new characters are introduced, some older characters get to take the lead, and it seems Crowley really settled into a great art style with these. The cast gets even more diverse, with one storyline introducing Zoot's mother who's had a mastectomy and his brother who's gay. There are more than 300 pages total, including some fan comics, and I like them even more than Loxie Zoot, though it's helpful to have read those comics first. In 2009, Crowley also made a series of single-panel comics for H&E magazine called Bear Manners, 14 altogether. These definitely feel the most like an old-fashioned newspaper strip and are also accessible through the Wayback Machine. After some more digging, I found that Crowley was actually making nudist comics as far back as 1997. Loxie Zoot actually made their first appearance back then, in an issue of Australian Sun and Health. Seeing just how much Crowley's style evolved in the 12 years of making comics with these characters is a big part of what I enjoy about reading them. I've really enjoyed reading through all of these comics, and to be honest I'm still not quite done with The Bear Pit yet, and learning about Crowley's long-running work. They still feel fresh today, and having them more easily accessible online would be great. Having them in print would be even better. The original Koala Bares storyline was printed, but I don't think it can be purchased right now and I couldn't find any second-hand copies online. I'm not sure about any of the other storylines. At some point in time, Crowley transitioned and changed their name. You'll see in early strips that they used to go by the name Steven, but it's dropped early in 2003. And despite never returning to naturist settings, they continued making webcomics, notably a superhero comic called Magellan, which was still updating until October 2023. Crowley's own Twitter account hasn't been active since November 2022. I attempted to reach out to them in January with the email I found on the website for Magellan, hoping to interview them, but unfortunately I never got a response back. Wherever they are, I hope they're doing well and that they know their work is appreciated.
We hope you're enjoying Planet Nude. If so, please consider a paid subscription. Your membership comes with exclusive content and supports our work. Subscribe at www.planetnude.co.